What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video I want to talk about Apple. Now Apple's an interesting stock because historically it's seen as a safe haven stock, at least for the last decade, right? iPhone sales were doing well year after year, people were adopting the Apple ecosystem, and whenever people talked about investing, the first stock they talked about was getting into Apple or buying Apple stock. But recently, its status as safe haven has come into question due to, China tariffs, competition abroad, and all the AI competition that's been heating up with its peers like with Meta, Google, Amazon, and Apple's really been lagging in the artificial intelligence aspect. And so today I want to talk about WWDC, which is supposedly the most significant event for Apple. Previously, Apple's most significant event has always been on the hardware side, right? iPhone transformations, or the new iPad, or improvements they've been making on the Macintosh. But most recently, software has come under more scrutiny as investors await more AI progress from Apple. And so we're going to go over WWDC, everything they announced here, and to see if whether they impress or disappoint investors. And so you can see that they made a lot of changes to the iOS ecosystem, or the iOS operating system, the Mac operating system, iPad, Watch, Vision OS. And at first glance, it seems like a lot of its changes has been mostly design related. So you can see that they've made some design changes here to the operating system, a new design with liquid glass. Beautiful, delightful, and instantly familiar. It's made some changes to Apple Intelligence. Now it says Apple Intelligence is integrated into even more places to help you communicate across languages, create more personal images, and use more powerful shortcuts. So we have live translation, automatically translate text and messages, display live translated captions in FaceTime. That's nothing really, it seems like it's just catching up to its competitors because Meta and Google has pretty much done the same thing, but way before Apple has. More with visual intelligence. It builds on Apple Intelligence so you can search across your most used apps and an event to your calendar. Okay, so this is nothing like really surprising. And look, it's using ChatGPT again. More ways to express yourself with images, mix emoji and descriptions, compare notes in text and transcription, then summarize the differences. So this is all the updates they have for the iPhone as far as Apple Intelligence goes. And honestly, it's very lackluster. And it's interesting because, Apple has to say something about Apple Intelligence, but these to me look like incremental improvements to their really bad Apple Intelligence system. We have some updates regarding communication, discovery, and not much really. Let's look into Mac OS. So they announced Mac OS Tahoe, which looks like another design improvement, like a new design with liquid glass. I guess that's what they're saying is they're naming part of their what the design is going to look like. More Apple Intelligence stuff. Not really anything here. Continuity, productivity. That's it. iPad OS. More workflows coming this fall. Liquid glass again. Multitasking. Productivity. Watch OS. Apple Intelligence. Pretty much the same thing. So you can see that Apple really hasn't done much to make improvements to Apple Intelligence, and they're really struggling to build out their own artificial intelligence model because they don't have an in-house model. And if you remember over the past years, that Apple was really keen on data privacy, so they don't have access to all the customer data that Google or Meta has access to, and so they don't have the ability to build their own models. And that's going to be a really big problem for Apple trying to get into artificial intelligence in the years coming ahead. So what they have to do is they have to partner with other vendors like ChatGPT. They have to partner with Google's Gemini in order to bring AI into their Apple devices. And so because of this lackluster event, Apple stock it tanked about $3 from 205 down to about or $4 down to about 200, but it's since recovered. So there hasn't really been much movement for Apple stock, and I want to talk about the technicals for Apple because that might give you guys a little bit more clarity into where Apple stock might be going in the next few weeks to the next few months. So here I have the Apple 4-hour time frame, and this screenshot was taken about 1 day ago over the weekend, but the price hasn't really moved so far. And so you can see that Apple is really forming this really tight symmetrical triangle here, and is looking for a breakout either to the upside or to the downside. And in the weekly time frame might give you guys a little bit more clarity into where it's going in the near future. So here's Apple on the weekly time frame. You can see that the MACD, which signals momentum, is still bearish, and we're still not getting the cross of the two lines yet. So until that happens, any upside that Apple has will be limited for now. And so what I believe is Apple is going to retest the 190 to the 180 level and solidify this 200-day moving average as support before it continues to move to the upside. And the reason why is because of the MACD. The weekly MACD is giving me signals that the correction for Apple is not yet done. And who knows, that could be off of, China trade deals and Trump easing off of Apple, because we know that Trump has been throwing shots at Tim Cook for trying to build a plant in India. And Trump really wants to bring back manufacturing and jobs, especially for the iPhone, back to the United States. So if you remember a couple weeks ago, he threatened a 25% tariff or 25% tax on Apple if he does not bring manufacturing back into the United States. But I think that's more of a threat than an actual, dream come true for Trump. So I think that eventually they're going to negotiate something out, and I think Apple can get that rebound that we've all been looking for over the past few weeks. So there you have it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. I do post all my analysis on the Toast Beans application, so go ahead and check that out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.